Hi, I'm Del Suggs, and I'm going to be your tour guide around an APCA exhibit hall. Now, whether it's your very first conference or whether you're a seasoned veteran coming back for the 10th or 12th or 15th time, we want you to feel welcome and to do lots of business. But there are certain rules of etiquette that exist in the exhibit hall, and I want to share some of those with you. Our number one rule is basically the golden rule, and that is treat your neighbors and the other associates around you as you want to be treated yourself. For example, if you're playing music in your booth or showing videos, make sure the volume is not excessive. It shouldn't be heard much past the confines of your booth itself. Second of all, if you have banners and posters that stand on their own, make sure, as in this example, that they're no more than 3 feet from the back of the exhibit booth, because you don't want to be blocking the view into your neighbor's booth. I find, like a lot of seasoned associates, that candy and snacks are always a good way to get people into the booth. It's a good idea when you give away candy and snacks that it's individually wrapped packages. It's not a good idea to have a bare bowl of jelly beans or popcorn or something of that nature, because you want to be as sanitized and as hygienic as you could possibly be with it. That's why it's a good idea to make sure that your candy is wrapped. Also, if you use a computer or have audio playing, you might want to consider using headphones and having them available. The exhibit hall can be very noisy at times, and while speakers are always an effective way to pull people into the booth, they often can't hear your performance as well as you might like. That's why earbuds or headphones are always a successful way to ensure that people can hear what it is that you're playing. You want to make sure that you have your brochures on display. I like to use brochure stands that lift mine up and have them standing upright on the table so they're easy to be seen. They're also less cluttered if they're standing upright, and it's easy to grab when folks come into your booth and pass them out. At every APCA conference, you will always receive a delegate list. It's a good idea to have this list handy at all times, because you can check and make sure that certain schools have been by your booth. You can also keep track of the names of the hundreds of students and staff people that stop by your booth, because otherwise it's very difficult to keep track of everyone who comes by. Now I'd like to show you some examples of other booths. As all associates, all agents, and all artists are different, all booths are different also. For example, this is a booth for chair massage to go. It's actually a double booth. As you can see, it's wide and spacious and open. There's plenty of room for the 2 associates that are working in this booth to massage the delegates as they come by, yet it's still open and inviting and warm. See, there's room for the foot massage, for the chair massage. It's all here ready to go, but still feels open and inviting. Now here's an example of a booth representing multiple artists. As you'll see the pictures on the wall, this agency represents a number of different artists. The wonderful thing about this booth is it's very easy to travel with and very easy to assemble. It's composed primarily of photos of the artists that the agency represents. They're clear and concise, and the wonderful thing about this is if a school is looking for a particular artist that they're familiar with, they can immediately spot them on the display, and they know this is the booth they need to stop at. One of the most popular booth designs with associates these days is the roll-up banner. The vertical banner is a wonderful way to decorate your booth and attract attention to it. You have to be aware, though, at all times that, for example, with the Swift Kick booth, they have their banners placed on top of the table. That's fine in this exhibit hall because we have 15-foot ceilings. But in a hall with standard 8-foot ceilings, these banners would have to be placed on the floor. Here's an example of a booth from a different type of attraction. This is a hypnotist booth, as you can plainly see. The spiral gives the impression that it is a hypnotist booth. It's also a very lovely, clean, professionally designed and built booth. You'll notice also at the bottom, because she is a showcasing act, she has a sign clearly illustrating that she will be showcasing. This is a great way to remind the folks that are at the conference that you will be showcasing and to attract them into your booth after you have already completed your showcase. It's a standard practice in the exhibit hall to put your table in the back of the booth so it seems more attractive and inviting. Here's a great example of someone who's actually put the table in front, yet it still seems inviting and an attractive booth. You see they put on a red tablecloth. They've also increased the height of the table. It seemed inviting, almost like a bar room setting. You can also see that they still have allowed plenty of access for delegates to come back and talk to the associates. And it fits in perfectly with the design of their booth and their backdrop. And when I talk to you about keeping your booth clear and free of clutter, I've also said that every agency and every associate is different. Now here's an example of a booth that has promotional materials. You'll see that at first glance it appears to be cluttered, but actually it's simply covered with all the variety of promotional materials that they have available. This is a great opportunity for students to come by and learn about various types of promotional materials, not only that this associate can provide for them, but also for the students to get ideas that they can take back to their school to use to promote events and programs on their own campus. Now here's an example of a beautiful booth. You can see it's perfectly coordinated with the colors, beautiful large graphic, brightly lit, large screen TV, even some artistic arrangements of flowers to add attraction to the booth. This is a very open and friendly booth, looks very polished and very professional. You don't have to spend a fortune on your banners, though, to have an effective and professional booth. Here's an example of a poster-sized roll-up vertical banner, which is very professionally done and makes for a very attractive booth. I've enjoyed giving you this tour around the APCA Exhibit Hall. As you've seen, every agency, every artist, every associate is different, and likewise, every booth is different. I hope you've gotten some good ideas to decorate your booth when you come to your next APCA conference.